Hello everyone, welcome to NCK Hub. I am Chandrakant. You are in Azure series. Welcome to Zero to Hero Azure series of Day 2. In this Day 2, we are going to know about Azure All Services. I request if you like our videos, kindly please do subscribe and follow us. Let's jump into Azure All Services of Day 2. I hope prior to this series, you have gone through about day one activity, how to create an Azure account. And I am hoping that you have created an account. Now quickly jump into all services of Azure. Well, this is my Azure dashboard. Previously, we have discussed about user account information, creation of account, and all the Azure CLI with Bash and PowerShell and settings of user activities. And we have seen how to authenticate our account with MFA. So all these we have seen in our day one session. Now we are going to know about the services involved in Azure. So this is the Azure dashboard. From the Microsoft Azure dashboard, left hand side you can see the menu. From the menu, I'm going to showcase you all services being provided by the Azure. If we can click on all services, from the all services you can see Azure is providing all different categories of computing, containers, databases, DevOps, hybrid cloud, machine learning and AI, and identity with respect to the security, integration, monitoring, and networking, migration, many more services. So if you want to create a computing, then you have to navigate to the computing. From the computing, you can see different infrastructure as a services. If I can click on compute, from the compute, we can manage our computing machines like availability of the servers, which are being provided by the Azure. Next, fleet services and also groups. If you want any Linux images, Windows images like this, you can create all the images and you can deploy well managed services. It can be a blob service or a storage or Linux or anything. Similarly, for those servers, you have to secure like SSH keys, virtual machine images, and application agents. And also, if you want any templates also being provided by the Azure. And we have a platform as a service as well, where in the platform as a service, Azure being provided with us different application services which are being involved with the different platforms. Example, if you want to create an application with Java, you can create an Java application, .NET, Python. Like this, you can create. If you want to containerize your application with respect to the computing machines, then you can navigate to your compute apps. From the computing apps, you can create and manage your serverless architectures. Suppose you want Azure managed serverless architecture services, you can opt Azure. Similarly, if you want to manage your database like computing, from the Azure, you can navigate it to create an application by building database. That database supports storing and also managing different Cosmos data of services. So this is one of the service which is from Microsoft. It is more distributed multimodal managed service. It can help you with the SQL management database and also PostgreSQL databases. Similarly, we can have modernize different database services with MySQL, Oracle database, and also SQL managed services. Similarly, if you want to work on DevOps, then you can click on the categories of DevOps. You can jump into Azure deployment services, labs, and if you want to configure your repositories, you can configure with Azure repos or GitHub repos. And you will be having a from the DevOps point of view, you can do Azure load testing as well. All these will be licensed services. Depending upon your requirement, you can create the resource whichever being managed as per your client requirements. If you want to integrate your applications with the API services, you can use the API management service and app configurations. Similarly, if you want to migrate your application, example, if you have a project that is from on-premise to cloud or else from one cloud to different cloud, you can use manage your data services as well using this migration. If you are planning to migrate your database, you can use a database migration service, and you can do Azure Migrate. Database service is the one which will convert the schemas, tables, and all the data using the Azure Data Migration Service. Similarly, if you want to protect your data, you can utilize the services like recovery services and also Azure Data Box. First and foremost, all these services requires a networking. First, you have to create a private or public network. Then for those networks, you have to route your traffic. Then if you are routing your traffic to a public or private services, during that point of time, you would require definitely a CIDR range. All these will be managed from the network foundation. If you can see, this is the network foundation service being provided by the Azure. From here, you can create virtual network. From the virtual network, if you want a public service, you can create public. If you want a private IP, you can create private IP. And for those IPs, if you want to manage gateway connections, you can utilize these NAT gateways. And accordingly, as per your needs and requirement, you can map your network. If you want to mobilize your network with respect to peering services or connect from one network to another network, or if you want to mobile networks, then you can utilize these services under hybrid connectivity. If you want peering connections, source account to destination account and one account to different account, you can use peerings. Similarly, if you're looking for a security of your networking on servers, you can check out a network security, and also network security you will be provided with a security groups and firewalls. These firewalls you can check it out. And we will be having a security service where in our business or the clients, whatever we do work with, we will be having an Azure previously an Active Directory. That Active Directory now being moved and currently working it as in domain services with respect to Entra ID, where you can manage and protect your identity and access control services, where you will be provided with a federation login or else an Entra ID with a multi-factor authentication service. Those account services you can provide proper security with an application security, and also you can securely create a user. For that user, you have to create a domain service. For the domain service, you can attach it to a proper security by creating certain policies. Those you can manage under these all these securities. If you want any threat detection and protection, you can use Microsoft Defender as well. And if you are looking for any databases, so we will be having, as I said previously, multi-database it will do support like Oracle, SQL, and SQL database, PostgreSQL. Likewise, multiple databases there. If you are looking for storage services, like in AWS, we have storage services, EBS, S3. Likewise, in Azure as well, we have storage services with respect to Azure Edge, where you can utilize and manage your services. And also you can have a data box, or else you can have a stack edge services. This is a hybrid solution which will process your data, store, and completely manage your machine data by storing in different multi-ways. You can look at the disk spaces and disk accesses. All these part of data services of storage. So same application of Azure, if you are looking for and you want to manage your containers, then you can click on containers. From the containers, you can manage your Dockers, Kubernetes services, and also container registries. All these you can map, and you can manage your containerized applications with respect to application configuration and container applications. And if you are good at machine learning and also AI, Microsoft Azure is being provided to you Azure AI plus ML services. This you can see Azure AI Studio, and also it is providing to you Azure ML with respect to Azure machine learning. Under the Azure AI services, you will be having a bot service, documented, face APIs, computer vision, all these will be there. So in general, if you want to know about any analytics and monitoring, Azure is being provided with data analytics, Azure Databricks, Azure Data Analytics, Data Factories, and also you can create notebooks and you manage your Databricks with respect to snapshots and Azure data notepads and notebooks, Microsoft graphs like this. You can create a data catalog, and under this catalog, you can do create multiple services of data management with respect to different assets of different category services of data. So this is about all the services which are being involved in Azure, where we have seen in this day 2 session analytics, computing, containerized, and also DevOps, monitoring, and identity and integration. So likewise, if you want to go through all these services, you can just pitch in here and you can check out all the services. If you are interested in IoT, it supports IoT as well, IoT Hub. Likewise, if you are looking at monitoring, analysis, and also application insights, all these will be supported by Microsoft Azure. So this is about all the services which are part of a Microsoft Azure. If you want to come back, you can do click here. And if you want to look about all the menus of the options or the services, you can do check out all these services. So that's it about day 2 activity, how to become zero to hero in Azure series. So I am closing the session here. Thank you for listening and following us. If you like our videos, kindly please follow, and we encourage you to subscribe our channel for more content and videos. Thank you.